Yo, what's happening, everybody? See, I would like to welcome all of y'all to the greatest show ever, JTC. This is another hot season. All them in there.
I wanna do it like this. I wanna do it like that. I wanna do it like this. I wanna do it like that.
Study be the loco. Working hard every day is a motto. Yeah. Come everybody, hango. Ready, here we go with the dance. Yeah. You are smarter than a tingo. Are you feeling what I say with the lingo? Yeah. See how they give you team power and encourage you to study. Yeah. See how they give you team power and encourage you to control. Yeah. See how they give you team power and encourage you to study.
Today, I just want to brag, like literally, I just want to brag if I'm allowed. I'm live on JTZ, the only teen show on NBC. I mean, we keep it real, we keep it cool. This is the only show where we say the fun never stops. So welcome. They call me Dana.
And I'm your girl, Stephanie J. Now, that is the logo of the show. The fun never stops. But we also inform and we educate. Now, if you want to find out what we're educating on today, check you on the flip side.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Yes, today we will be talking about teens extraordinaire. I mean, not like zero extraordinary every day, but teenagers who do things out of the ordinary. Like the topic of the day, the software developers, the kids who would just go in an extra mile to do something better, like us.
Not really, but we're talking about those people that would go out of their way to make the world a better place, whether that's through music, that's through art, or that's through giving back to the community, through mediums of soup kitchens. I'm talking about that type of vibe.
Oh, you mean that type of vibe, Steffi? Oh, okay. Okay, but today, the gamers are going to be very excited. I mean, literally, our guest expert is a software developer. This guy created a game, not Pac-Man, but a nice action game. Okay, we gotta do in order to clean Steffi.
Whoa.
Yes, while we keep Corona away with our social distancing and sanitizing, we will check you on the other side.
Then a game, you said, there's a lot of things a human being can do. Now, the question that stands is, what can we as teenagers do to change other people's lives? Then I want to know, what do you do on the extra?
Which extra? Do you mean like extraordinary every day?
No.
Or like
I mean like making other people's lives better.
Okay, making other people's lives better. I really don't do that much, but as a TV presenter, there is a kid out there who looks up to me, who wants to become one day. So we gotta do it for them. We keep presenting, we keep bringing you good content. Oh, if you're a teenager out there and you just wanna help out in the community, bring up a group like Steffi, we can walk around with black plastic pen, we just clean up.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Now, you can also be extraordinary every day by sending through your questions on our social media platforms, and we'll make sure to ask the experts about the coronavirus. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Johnny Bernardi, a software developer, a Namibian software developer at that, who created an amazing game. Now, because he's all the way in Sokopun, he'll be joining us through Skype. We'll be right back after this.
Like Steffi said earlier, we are having a guest expert, Mr. Johnny Bernard. He will be joining us on Skype. So let's have him in studio. Mr. Johnny. Mr. Johnny?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing well as well. So let's jump into it. What? Okay.
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Okay then. So, Mr. Johnny, what is a software developer?
Software development, well, it's actually a broad term. It's actually designing software for specific purposes to run on any kind of hardware platform, well, device, consoles, PCs, even television. But the group of software development, the subgroup that I specialize in a bit more is the game development side. But yes, it's actually the same thing. There's apps or games, specific games to run on the different platforms.
Okay, so what does a software developer do, like in practical terms?
Well, if in normal cases for software, you would be creating programs for a specific purpose to run on specific hardware. So you would, for example, make a to-do list software to run for office personnel, that kind of thing. In my scenario, it would be game development. So I try to create games for different platforms for people to play on an international basis. So it's the development process. A game developer is actually more, I would say, an entity than a person itself. You can have an individual person that is a game developer like I am currently, but it could be an entity like a company as well, and it has many different processes. Game development is not just one single part. For example, many people think it's just programming. Game development actually has surprisingly small parts of programming involved. A lot of design, a lot of creative skill.
Okay, so what made you want to develop a game?
Sorry, the volume is really soft.
Okay, what made you want to develop a game? Like, what gave you that idea into creating a game?
Come again, I apologize. I have very, very soft audio on my end now.
Okay, what made you want to develop the game, or what gave you that idea into creating your game?
Well, actually, how the idea came about is I enjoy creative things. I'm not really a creative person, but I enjoy things like 3D modeling. I enjoy programming as well as a hobby. And I've always thought that there's no way to actually use those skills. I think a lot of people in Namibia actually feel that way. You have these skills, you can draw, you can make 3D art, you can make music, write stories, but you have no way to constructively use it. And that was the same boat I was in. And then I noticed, well, game engines is the software package that you use to bring all the different assets together to make the game. These engines, some of them are actually free to use on a commercial purpose. You sell games using these free engines. And once I realized that, I started learning myself the different aspects. And this is how I started getting into it piece by piece as a hobby, of course. The problem is if you go into it with the mindset of this is a hobby, you'll never get out of that mind. You have to somewhere along the line decide, listen, okay, this is my second job, side to side with my day job. So I started thinking of different projects, and then eventually I came up with the IV Helper project just as my first project. It wasn't my first project I started, it was the first project I actually I finished, would be the correct way to put it.
Okay, so for instance, myself, does one need an IT background in order to develop a game, or can even I just
no,
do
most
one?
definitely. I think the misconception with that comes in that IT people in the IT industry tend to have programming knowledge as well, and vice versa. But that's just because that industry attracts the same kind of person. So the benefit of having IT as background would only be that you might know a bit of programming or a lot of programming, it doesn't actually matter, but you need computer literacy. That would definitely help. Even if you have none, it's not a game changer. You can still learn to do game development if you don't know how to use a computer. But the problem would be you're trying to build knowledge of these different applications, how to use them, but you don't yet know how to use the computer that the software runs on. So it's an extra hurdle, but there's nothing that prevents a non-IT person from doing game development at all.
Okay, so what inspired you or motivated you to come back from work and daily continue on working on your game?
Well, if I'm talking about the IP Helper project itself, I assume.
Yes.
I mean, you're directing that directly to the IP Helper project, the first project I made.
Yes, of the game. Like, what inspired you to consistently keep working on it?
For that, there are different things that inspired me to go for that project directly. The first would be I wanted to make something that would give the player some kind of an adventure feel. That's you don't get your objective directly. You have a bit vague. So you have to find out, discover what you need to do by yourself. And for design's sake of the project, there were many factors that I had to take into account. I wanted to make the exploration game, for example, and people ask me why did I choose the game takes place on a desert world. They ask me why did I choose a desert setting? Is it because Namibia? But it's not actually. If you want to make a small, well, not small, it's like medium to large size open world game where you allow the player to rope around free, you have to remember if it's like me in one of your first projects, you have to keep the scope of the project very small so that you know you can be able to handle it. A desert landscape is sand and rocks, maybe a bit of vegetation. But if I chose something like a tropical landscape, I would have taken many more years, because you have to think about what that brings with it. Trees, water. If there's trees and water, it means animals. So the desert landscape, the whole of the game, everything was specifically decided on to keep the project at a manageable size within my knowledge base at the time. So everything was I decided was meant for me to be able to take this project to a publishing stage.
Okay, so to the teenagers out there who look up to you, who actually want to develop their own game, what would you tell them?
For people that are looking to do this, I would say go for it. There's absolutely nothing that needs to stop a person. I think the only reason I didn't start at an earlier age would be the software was where it is today. A word of advice to anybody that wants to try game development, you have to kind of have a passion for it. It's exactly the same as music or singing or writing anything. It's difficult to push through if you don't have a passion for it. Because it's not. People think it's just games. Let's make a quick game. It's not a problem. It's not work. Game development can be extremely challenging. Depending on what you make, it can be very, very difficult. Before you pursue it, make sure it's something you want to do.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnny, for spending your time today with us, and we learned a lot from you today. So
no, it's my big thank you guys for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure as well. Okay guys, you heard it. If you have a dream, if you want to go into the gaming business, you want to create your game, you don't need IT. You can do it. All you have to be is very creative. So it was a very informative first half. I'm gonna work on my plans of developing a game, so I'll check you on the other side. Welcome back, guys. Now that was a very technical interview, but you know, like we said, the fun never stops. Yes, from experts to passionate young people. Today we have a very young, passionate youth who came up with an initiative in order to reduce physical contact in retail shops. Here is Joaquim's story.
Hello Namibia, I am Joaquim Shilongo. I am a software developer. I create apps and websites for companies. My journey in IT started long ago when I was a lot more younger, in my school going days. I had an intense love for apps and games and the joy it brought to people. So it sparked my mind on how almost anything could be accomplished by using a piece of software. So but however, as time passed, I wanted to create my own apps, so that's how I went into creating apps and learned more on how to code, so and trying to use that knowledge to solve problems around me. Anybody can do or can write software, anyone can create apps, but it's just a matter of interest and passion. It requires a love not only for computers but to solve problems as well, or daily challenges that people encounter every day. And IT is a fast growing industry that is present in most, if not all, fields. So I would highly recommend anyone with a passion for computers or information to dwell or to dive more into IT. My recent work is a contact tracing system that provides more safety through reduction in physical contacts and protection of people's information when they are writing in daily customer logbooks at retail outlets from people who potentially steal information. So it aims to improve contact tracing, and it makes the whole contact tracing process substantially faster. And so I saw the need for this software because COVID-19 pandemic has been developing at a faster pace, especially in my hometown, Walvis Bay, and the software tries to minimize the current backlog of information in Namibia regarding COVID updates. And my inspiration mostly comes from the urge to create and to improve the lives of people using software technology. And I believe Namibia is for us and for us to build. To everyone out there that is striving to change Namibia in a positive way, regardless of which path you take, let's keep on trying.
Wow, I am so impressed by what all the teenagers are doing out there. I mean, a big applause for all the youth out there, and Joaquim too. Now, while you're at it, you might as well go ahead and create the app for Justeenz too. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man, like a JTZ kind of app, man. Yes, but we're not quite done with our teenagers. We have Alvaro. She sings very wonderfully. I don't know if she sings better than me, but let's just hear her soothing voice. Here's Alvaro.
I saw a great grand cloud. It came and it poured right out. Rain that was warm and smooth. My name is Alvarita Benedito Lukungo, but my stage name is Alvaro, and I'm going to share with you my story. Young blood, have you lost your faith?
That's the chorus, right?
Do you know what you could gain? Life is filled inside your veins. Beauty adores your face. I was born with glaucoma. It's congenital, so I got it from my mom. She got it from our grandfather. It's been running in the family a lot, eye problems. So I'm the only child that has it, which kind of, created a lot of friction when I was growing up, seeing that my mom had to pay more attention to me than all my other siblings. And I understand I'm the youngest one, so, you have to focus more on the youngest one. But I feel like she spent more time focusing on me, getting me to the hospital, looking at schools that I could go to and attend where I wouldn't necessarily be in a congested environment. And yeah, it was hard. The cloud has done what it was bound, and now we reap what we have found. Fruit that is sweet from its juice, fruit that could mend or rot the tooth. Well, I've had a love for music actually when I was quite young. My father used to have like this huge suitcase, and it would be filled with cassettes. yeah, I was alive when they were cassettes. So like they would be filled with Kizomba and like, you know, just the old stuff, basically, Brenda Fassie. Then my brother ended up downloading a bunch of other music, so I got into listening to Enya, Celine Dion, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, and all that. Yourself short. The system's corrupt and cruel. You just gotta know when to break loose. So don't you sell yourself short. Why would you sell yourself short? The system's corrupt and cruel. You just gotta know when to break loose. I saw a great grand cloud, yeah.
So before we say our goodbyes, guys, let's check out the amazing dance moves with the videos that you guys send us through on a daily. Let's check this out.
Yo, when I'm a, yo, when I'm a,
Sweet like music.
yo, when I'm a, yo, when I'm a, 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 when I'm a, yo, when I'm a,
Che con coño. Yeah, Viseñoño.
just wear your shoe, vale bamboo, if just a ride, begin a good drop at your pimbo, makuti. Mark me busy, provide me, mark me busy, get a practice, get I'm busy, washa, get I'm busy.
Welo watala la sotwe, kela mo fire. Tamimbu ingona tatu dengo ngalo yo fire. Wela ko batu twendelele man shivaya. Gengo to kwata kwata to yo hange twaya. Nebe akatana, kete tenga detana. Omosi moputi alikuma, andi nduduma. Ashu, 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 ashu.
Just wear your shoe, 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 just wear your shoe.
Now the vibes in here are just amazing, you guys. But that is all the time that we have for you guys today, right, Dana?
Right, what? Oh yeah, it is all the time that we have for you today. Es frita.
But the fun doesn't have to stop here. You can inbox us your videos on how you're coping with the pandemic and how you're keeping busy during the lockdown. And while you're at it, inbox us and we'll add you on the WhatsApp group and follow us while you are there, okay?
Yeah, but Stephanie, you know, before we go, like just like before we go, Alvaro dance, you can say.
Alvaro.
Okay. So please, guys, we also on IG. Follow us, Justeenz_NBC. So from your boy Dana.
And from your girl Steffi.
It is adios.